Okay, where did this all begin? I mean, okay, well, when did you get the idea for this?
Okay, when I was little, no. Where did this come from? Well, 4 years of college, actually five.
What did you study in college?
Fine art education. What I enjoyed was the studios and just being around artists and different mediums, different knowledges, and people that you would never generally meet except for under just the art category. So then that was Madison. Moved to DC, and there's several places. There's one in Virginia, torpedo factory that I think they closed it. Taking old factories, and this has been going on for years and years, getting artists together in studio spaces, sharing thoughts, ideas, struggles, and just living under that one roof with all the studios and participation. So,
How much do you think you learned from other people at that time? From the other artists?
All the time.
Okay.
All through college, it's a continual, because you're always asking someone, how did they achieve that? What's the whether it's a medium or the supply they're using. It's sort of, where did you come? How did you get to that point, and why? And just their thought process and why they do certain subject matter. That's huge. So what I found is other people like to see artists they like to watch them work. And I liked watching other people do their mediums, whether it's, I didn't do stone lithography, but it was really interesting to watch, or welding, or because I just are so passionate about it. That I think was fun. So for the general public, it encourages everyone just to see and participate in the art process, whether you think you're an artist or not. Most everyone is, but they just have to tap into it. So this building combines everything. Then I had the education degree. So teaching art, which I did with my kids for 17 years.
What do you mean your kids?
When I had kids. Because
Okay.
I never went out I moved to DC. I was going to student teach, but I would have to travel to Virginia, get up at 4 a.m. because you're a sub. And subbing's really not that much fun. So I opted for gallery work and picture framing, learned a trade, nothing wrong with that. So between working at galleries, then I got a job at the Smithsonian because I was silk screening. So I would make t-shirts. I did my own prints to begin with, and t-shirts because you could make money off of that. And then worked at the Smithsonian doing silk screening. So that got me into the museums, gallery. I did a lot of art history in college, so that again ties into all the courses that you take when you're an art major. It was a Big Ten school, so there was a huge variety of classes and courses you can take.
What was the Big Ten school?
Madison. So combining the education aspect, which I think is it's just so rewarding, teaching young people and adults now as well. Just teaching them the simple processes, the how-tos, and everyone finds they get such happiness just creating something on their own, and you don't judge. There's no judgment, and there shouldn't be, which is the reason a lot of people stop doing art, is because someone at some point in their life has judged them or said, "Oh, that's not quite right," or "You colored outside the lines," which is really fun to do. So just bringing the education, the gallery, the community of artists, and then having it open to the public. So this is all about giving. It's giving back, and it's people sharing. So it's not this for everybody else. And I just get happiness with somebody who's pleased just to buy a painting, and they know where it's going to go and how it, it's going to fit in their house, and it means something to them because art does speak to you that way.
And when did you get this idea for this building?
Oh, probably in college.
What was your imagination back then? What did you think it would be like?
Pretty much it got bigger than I thought. I just pictured a bunch of studios and artists being together, that kind of the old school. I mean, it goes way back for zillions of years. The whole Impressionists did that. They don't have their studios where they get to be in one vicinity and then visit and talk about what they're doing and discuss the next steps. So, yeah, no, I've had this idea for a long time.
And then how did you get it going?
Well, I wanted to build. Mostly, it started just with space. If you have a space and you can rent it out,
Mm-hmm.
there's always artists like around town or in the city, anywhere. They have studios in their apartments, in their homes, but it's hard to, if you're in certain, you make a mess on your dining room table, then you have to clean it up. And no one likes to do that. And then you end up not doing your process because you put it all away. And then once it's put away, you don't see it, you don't think about it, you do the laundry or feed the cats. So this way artists could come and have their space, make a mess and leave it all here. And when they come here, that's all we think about. It's just our art, where it's going, the process, how can we improve, how can we change, so our minds are just set in that arena, which is extremely beneficial, very helpful. It's just fun. It's very relaxing.
Why did you decide here and not somewhere else?
Well, I lived here and my kids grew up here. I've been here for 30 years. I did think of moving at one point, but I had established myself in the community here. That was helpful as far as knowing where to build, what to build, the community.
And this is a great corner. How come you chose this corner?
Oh, it came up. It just happened. The building that was here, it wasn't like for sale. There's no, most buildings around here are not for sale, but if you offer, if you ask someone, they'll say, yeah, I want to sell it. So you just go down that route. This corner was a pretty rundown, it's a great piece of land, especially in Edmonds, because there really is not a whole lot. And it's on the main street. Actually, when I started, it's kind of west of everything. The center is 2 blocks up, which is very difficult to walk that far. But that's just Edmonds. They just kind of go along the street and they forget that there's webs and it's just growing. So this is much more, it's a lot busier than it was, say, 10 years ago. It just sort of fell into my lap, this land. I was not going to get as big as I did, but I had the space and I made it simple. Well, it was simple. It's just a space.
And it was a rundown area of what was here?
What's here is an old building. It was Marble. They manufactured Corten.
Okay, tell me
how I got into art.
Yes, when you were a kid, what?
Why did I do this?
Yeah, just start from the beginning. I was born.
I was a little black child. I've always gravitated towards art. I think it's something, especially being one of 7, that you can own. It's who you are, it's what you are, and it's a piece of you. And it's very individual, even though you can share it and it can be seen. But it's your expression. And I think that's really, I always enjoyed that. It's a solo endeavor. And then teaching, actually, I was teaching in 4th grade because the teacher would have me go up and draw on the chalkboard. Mary, can you come up and draw a tree for us? And it's really shy, so I didn't really care for this, but I would go up and draw a tree on the chalkboard, and then she'd want me to just go around the class and help kids. And of course there was one, what was his name? I can't remember. Anyway, he had a crush on me, so he'd always ask me, Mary, can you help me with my tree? Anyway, that's a side story. But so I was doing that, showing art since I was young, and I just kept going.
Did you have any influences when you were young?
Influences? Well, besides my brother Ted.
No influences on art. I definitely
No,
didn't.
I think this is why I'm doing a lot with the education. Is growing up, we had art classes. We had from day one, from kindergarten on, whether you're making an ashtray and ceramic or pottery class, which we did. There was always a course up through. We were acrylic painting in 6th grade. We did copper enameling. We did high school was great. It was actually etching. We had every medium: ceramics, pottery, jewelry making, and that's just in the high school setting. So I was extremely fortunate to have that exposure, which carried on into Southern College. I had a huge base, whereas right now I see people, kids that are extremely talented. They don't have an outlet, and they don't have the supplies and the education to keep them going, because we're not all geared for certain subjects.
All right, now I do need to get into one other territory. What do you do here? I mean,
That's my job
with schools and stuff like that.
What I do at school. So what I found out with my 17 years of teaching is schools. Every school gets a certain amount of funding. Some get more from their PTA, some don't. And you can't ask. Okay, first day of school, you can't ask certain kids to bring in a set of watercolors, a set of markers, a set of crayons. They can barely afford the books that they have, and let alone a lunch. There's a lot of, in this area, so certain schools don't have even a lunch program, so you can't ask a kid to bring that in, and the teachers don't. There is no art class, no arts teacher. So the teachers have to do it themselves. So what we've done is teaching the teachers how to teach art within their classroom and within a certain amount of supplies. So we give them a cabinet of supplies: pencils, oil pastels, paints, paper is huge, watercolors, and then we show them how to use the materials. And whether I always try and focus on tying it into a curriculum that they're doing, whether it's science or culture, or which is really quite simple to do. Educators need to kind of focus more that you can get the arts into every single topic. So it shows them, and we have projects we can show them. If you have 10 minutes of class, you have 20 minutes of class, you have a half hour, and they don't have to, by all means, it's their choice. But we're finding that more and more teachers are very excited about this because they have the supplies. There's a cabinet, they all share they know where things are, and they just take them back to their room and do their projects.
Cool. Do you do other things for the community?
Oh, plenty. Let's see, in the community here we have it's the art district, this whole area, Edmonds. There's about half a dozen at least that are on that program. There's a museum to Cascadia, there's the Waterfront Center, there's the Arts Foundation, the festival, there's the library, there's the ECA. So we all tied together and trying to make Edmonds sort of an art destination. So that really ties in. So I do a lot of that kind of networking and discussing and how we can all work together, and telling people we are relatively new. It's a couple of years, what we have and what we have to offer, and how we can work with the other art community and the other art focuses here.
Okay. Do you think that's pretty much the scope of everything that you do?
That's pretty much, it in a nutshell.
Okay, good.
A little bit of everything. And I teach classes, do my own artwork, basically run this building.
That's good. I like that.